Hello everybody and welcome back to the next Marvel Crisis Protocol tournament recap. This is kind of a part 2 to the one that would have been posted probably earlier this week. I'm dating the video now, but we'll figure it out. This time we are joined by Reid, who's going to be talking about his perspective in the same tournament that I was talking about earlier. So if you guys went and watched that battle recap, you'll remember that Reid took second place in this event. I came in third, so we both did pretty good. I think we were both pretty happy with how we did here. And I talked a little bit about our game because we did play. I think it was actually round 2 we played in. But now, Reid, we're gonna talk about what you did. So I'm gonna go ahead and pull up your list, and all of your games come with it. It's kind of convenient. We really don't need to go off this page much for pretty much the entire thing, but just before we get into the games and stuff like that, kind of run us through your list here. Who were you bringing? Why were you bringing them? Why would you bring Storm over Cyclops? That sort of thing.
Sure. So I brought Storm over Cyclops because Storm is good, Cyclops bad.
That checks out to me.
Yeah.
But yeah, in all seriousness, obviously you have some kind of good X-Men staples there, such as X-23, Beast. I'm pretty sure is a kind of a standard bring for X-Men. Rogue and Logan are both solid models, but everyone else there. I mean, Domino has one of the highest damage outputs in the game, but everyone else kind of why those models? What are they bringing that the rest of your list doesn't really have? What were some of the choices made here?
Sure. So other than those generic X-Men kind of staples, I brought Beta Ray Bill. So the main reason I brought this guy is he's one of the better 4 threats in the game right now. But he also solves an issue I had with my list previously, where Hulk and Malekith would kind of run rampant, and I didn't have a good way of displacing them or answering them. So he provides a good way of doing that.
Yep.
Also, kind of why I ran Rogue too. She's X-Men affiliated, but
I don't know if she's really a staple for X-Men necessarily, so that makes sense.
Yeah, so that's kind of why I brought Rogue. She steals some power off them, and she can also throw them, which is useful.
Why the heck did you bring Pyro? That's such a bad model.
So Pyro, yeah, he's fantastic. But beyond that,
so much on that one.
Yeah, he's just another way for me to answer Malekith, Hulk. Pyrotechnics is a really good card at times, so
yep.
And then Psylocke, again, X-Men affiliated, but not everyone runs her. I really like her because it gives them a good affiliated Mystic attacker. I'm not crazy about Emma Frost.
Yep.
And she's also just one of really tanky, deceptively so, because either she gets cover or she gets martial artist, and she has rerolls, so
yeah,
she's very consistent.
She's a royal pain to take down in X-Men.
Yep. And for my last slot, which is I was testing but I didn't bring at all today, Ghost Spider.
So what was the idea with her?
So the idea with her is with the X-Men Hop, you can trigger her web beatdown technique. I don't remember the actual name of her builder.
Yeah, whatever her builder is, it gets the long move if you've moved her or placed this turn.
Yeah, exactly. And the cover I thought would help with her survivability, which is an issue with this model.
Yep.
And she offered some protection with Webline, or not Webline, Lifesaver.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it didn't really. Most games I wanted to bring her, it would break affiliation, and I had other models I wanted to bring more. Realistically, she's going to get cut for Angela in the future.
That makes sense.
Yep.
Alright, roll into your tactics cards. I mean, a few of these are obvious. Children of the Atom, X-Men, and First Class are X-Men cards. But kind of, what was the choice on the other? Notably, Brace for Impact's kind of one you see a lot, but Sacrifice over Patch Up, because that definitely didn't come up in any of your games.
No.
But yeah, stuff like that. I mean, Exceptional Healing makes sense. You've got a couple of those guys in there. You already mentioned Pyrotechnics. But yeah, what are your thoughts on the sacrifice over something like Patch Up or Indom? Got to get some air because I don't think you brought that against me, but did that see play? And then your other kind of generics there. What was the idea on those? I mean, I think most of us know what they do and how they work, but why those over any of your other options, sort of thing.
Right. So yeah, other than the first 5 like X-Men cards, Brace is Brace. It's really good.
Yeah.
Exceptional healing. Yeah, because I have Logan and X-23 and fantastic card for those
That just
models
makes
to keep them
sense.
alive. But yeah, got to get some air. So I didn't bring that. I haven't brought this in a while. It's in my 10 in the off chance I want to do an early aggressive play with Logan,
Right.
or if I'm think it might save Logan by using it reactively. But realistically, my list usually wants to run other tactic cards over it. So it's kind of just like the 10th slot that might get cut for something in the future, but for right now it's in the list because it's just good.
That's fair.
Then I brought Pyrotechnics. So this card was really good today, but I brought it because I wanted a way to drop objectives on the bigger, tankier models that might be holding like multiple cosmic cube fragments and stuff like that. And worst case scenario, if I have some incinerates out, I can get some pushes on models, which offers me some good controls aspects with Pyro. So I thought I'd include it in the 10.
Sounds solid.
Then Escort to Safety, I did not get to use today, but it's a really good card, and I'm sure I'll bring it at some point in the future. I just wanted a way to protect my X-Men, just keep those objective saves.
Yeah,
like the
doubling up
objective
on Gwen there.
Yeah, basically, that was also the idea, is that I could escort Gwen, and then Gwen, that was the idea.
Nice. And then Sacrifice is kind of the big interesting one there. And don't get me wrong, Sacrifice is a fantastic card, but choosing it over something like Patch Up or even Indom is not something you see super often. So what was the thought process there? And we'll talk about where you actually used it later, but
Sure. So for a while, was on Patch Up with X-Men, and that card is really good. But in the recent games before this, I found that Patch Up was like when I'd use it, I'd only be healing 2 or 3 damage. It wouldn't be like super optimal, and I'd be losing power on characters I did not necessarily want to lose power on at the time. Like I just wasn't getting maximum value out of the cards, so I decided that my list would probably benefit from a different one.
yep, that makes sense.
So I did heavily consider Indom at some point, but because I have a lot of size 3s,
Yep.
and it really sucks when they get thrown into my X-Men. But I ended up going with Sacrifice because my list was missing some of those reactive defensive cards beyond like Brace and stuff, but I wanted my opponent to add like another dimension to my opponent's targeting.
Yeah, an extra thing to think about.
Plus, X-Men are just usually naturally within 2 of each other, so it just seemed like a nice fit.
Yeah, that's fair.
And yeah, ended up being pretty valuable in the tournament. So definitely would bring again.
And your attrition list is running mission objectives, so good call there.
yeah. Did not come up, but it
makes
definitely
sense.
could.
X-Men is
Definitely
very
could.
much an objective focused list, so that's a great one. Speaking of objectives, natural segue that I'm ruining by calling out.
Good job.
Is your crises here? I mean, you and I have talked about which crises you bring a lot, but let's kind of go over these. So first, you have them on all over the place order here.
Yep.
So it's what? Spider People, Skrulls, and Struggle for the Cube are your extracts there. So what are the thoughts on those 3? Why those 3?
Right. So I've changed the extracts a lot with X-Men over the last few tournaments. Initially, I was going for like high scoring ones like Paranoia, and because like I had healing factor and stuff like that. But recently, I've been noticing everyone's been bringing Researcher, and I don't want to choose their extracts when Research is in there because it feels really bad to play on that scenario with X-Men. So I went for more middle line grab scenarios. So if I won priority, I could grab like the center objectives with a storm hop and then run away and be scoring up and force my opponent to engage with me.
Yep, that makes sense.
So that's why Struggle and Spiders in there. Skrulls is always in my list. I love Skrulls.
Yeah.
X-Men can grab them really safely. A lot of opponents can't quite do that.
Yeah, I mean, it's the same reason why you like the middle lines, right? Because you can grab them and back up, and with the Skrulls, if you get pushed, you can just back up anyways, so...
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Yep. No, it makes a lot of sense. And then your blues, because you know, if your opponent picks their own reds and gets researcher, what are you're left with mutant madman. So which one's which one's the extract and which one's the secure here?
So Portal's overrun city with spider people is the secure.
Okay, cool. So that one, I totally said that for the extracts earlier,
Yeah.
and then Riot Spark over Extremis.
Yeah.
What's the idea with these? Notably a little bit more symmetrical than your other ones.
So yeah, as everyone knows, X-Men love pay to flips. Specifically, Portal's overrun with spider people and mutant madmen. Just because the shapes naturally fit what X-Men like to play on, allows you to space out well and have kind of like these not clumped up fights, but these sectioned off fights across the map where you can use your mobility and everything.
Yep.
So that's those two, and then the last one I didn't do another pay to flip because the other ones I really don't like their shape. A sword base is way too close together for comfort.
Fair.
I've lost games where I've got sword base researcher and it's been pretty awful.
That sounds like a great time. I don't know what you're talking about.
No, it was pretty bad. Yeah, and then I can't remember what the last pay to flip is, but I decided it was better to go with a D-shaped map.
I think the other one was like either C or I. It's
I think it's like meteors.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well. But yeah, it's C or I shaped, which is a little bit more of a straight shot than you like as well.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, I went with Extremis because X-Men really like that D shape, and Extremis is really nice to like have the additional healing on healing factor models like X-23 or Logan, and it gives a nice spot for Storm to sit on the back point. So
yeah, that makes total sense to me. All right, so we're gonna go into the games now. So your first game here was against your long lost uncle, as we joked. No actual relation that we know of, but Rob here. So Rob was. You guys rolled into Skrulls, which I assume was yours, and Demons Downtown. He's playing Hydra. I don't know if he actually put his list in here. Oh, he did. Lovely. So, yeah. This was a few days ago now. So if you don't remember exactly what you guys brought, that's totally fine. Looks like you guys also didn't mark down your threat level for that game.
Right, we didn't.
Nice. But I know you guys did end up going to time, so kind of if you remember what you brought, if you remember what he brought, maybe mention that real quick, and then what were the kind of highlights of that game? How did it start? How did it end? And what kind of position was everything in?
Sure. So I can probably figure out the threat value real quick.
It's either 19 or 20 there.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it was 19 because he brought Mortal Hulk, Crimson Dynamo, Spider-Woman.
Okay.
So that's 15.
And then
Bob.
And then it would have been Strucker for his leader.
Strucker, yeah, so 20. Yeah,
yep,
20.
That makes sense.
And then I brought Storm, Beta Ray Bill, Rogue, Domino. What is that, 15?
Something like that. No, you're at 14, I think.
14, yeah, okay, that makes more sense. Beast,
Yep.
and Pyro.
Yep, that checks out.
Yeah, so the reason I brought those particular models, Beta Ray and Rogue, like I mentioned earlier, in the list to deal with Immortal Hulk, and I'm pretty sure I was going to see that.
Yep.
Especially on Demons Downtown.
Yeah.
Because, yeah, he's pretty good there. Pyro was kind of a last-minute ad when I was building the list, but because Demons Downtown is really good for Pyro, because everything being incinerated means you're probably going to get a really good pyrotechnics off.
Yep.
And he's also an answer to Immortal Hulk, so it's also good to put him in there.
Yeah, no, I came over and saw the very end of that game, and every model on that table had like three conditions on them for both sides. Because it's Strucker Hydra versus Pyro Demons Downtown. All right, so we just took a brief cut there, and yeah, so you're bringing Pyro for very obvious reasons. You're bringing Beta Ray and Rogue for similar reasons. Kind of just all of your tools to deal with Immortal Hulk there.
Yep.
So how'd the game roll out once you had deployed things, and was there anything kind of notable? It's a very central thing, typical shenanigans with X-Men first turn sort of thing.
Yeah, so the first turn was pretty relevant to how the rest of the game kind of went to some degree. So we were playing Skrulls, and one of the key moments that happened was, so I did the typical X-Men run up, grab, bring back my Skrull, so it didn't really matter if I got pushed there. But on the other side, he went and picked up the opposing Skrull with Bob, and unfortunately for him, the Skrull pushed him. So Bob was really close to Beta Ray at that point. So Beta Ray walked up and dazed Bob the first round and grabbed his objective.
That checks out.
Which is really huge because that gave me a nice score advantage. Beta Ray didn't get pushed, so he wasn't getting pushed into nowhere, so he was relevant for the objective on future turns. And other than that, I think I ended up scoring the center too. So I went up 5-2, I think. Something like that.
That sounds like how that would play out, yeah, because you're denying him a point and gaining one yourself.
Yeah. So that was pretty fortunate. I mean, it is why I play the scenario.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I managed to deny his Immortal Hulk any great targets in the first turn, so I think he might have thrown something at Beast and it did like 3 damage, which is still pretty solid, but he didn't get to really hit anyone, so...
Yeah, no punches on Immortal Hulk. Makes Immortal Hulk a little sad.
Yeah, so that was turned out pretty well. But the first action he did the second turn, Dynamo's really good on E-maps because he can just shoot his beam and apply shock to everyone.
You're running Pyro, you can't complain.
Yes, that is true. So yeah, his first activation was Dynamo propulsion thrust up, and then hit Rogue. Rogue and a couple others with a beam. I can't remember quite who those were. Rogue, Beast, and
Pyro
someone on Domino.
Okay.
Domino. Yeah. So he got shocks on all of them. He didn't end up dazing them, but did a couple damage.
Ooh, shock on Domino is rude.
Yes. So yeah, shock was on all of them. So like Domino and Rogue, it was pretty rude on. And I believe he passed off his Incinerate to Rogue because of his leadership.
Yep.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, so the key point, though, is after that, he didn't target out Pyro, which was a bit fortunate for me, because Pyro was actually on the midline point at this point in the game, because I used him to score up last turn.
Right.
So what I did with Pyro is I just did... I believe I X-Men hopped him off of Rogue. That was at the center at that point. Rogue and set him up for beam 2 on 2 different models. So he did that twice. He didn't stoke the flames or anything for either one of those because I was just trying to gain some power and spread the incinerates across Immortal Hulk, Strucker, and Dynamo.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, so then at that point, that put me up to 6 power. So I spent 2 to root and slow Immortal Hulk, which is really good.
That's definitely valuable.
Then I spent 3 power for pyrotechnics, and so none of them had objectives. That wasn't kind of the point. It was more just where they're located. I pushing them all small away. Basically acted as a stagger because they would have to walk back to the positions to be relevant at all.
And if Immortal Hulk didn't get to punch first turn and now he's rooted, he can't even leap.
Yes, exactly. He might be able to like walk and leap.
Well, he'd still have to punch something because leap now costs 4, and he'd only be sitting on 3 power.
Right. Yes.
So,
yeah.
Yep.
That's math.
Yep. That's rude.
Yeah. So that was also a really big swing. So the rest of the turn, I kept most of my extracts safe. Scored roughly the same. I'm pretty sure I scored 5 again because I scored the center point. Just by saving Beta Ray till last and throwing him off of it.
Yep. Checks out.
And yeah, the rest of the game kind of went like that, where I was just constantly throwing him off. Wasn't really going to kill anyone because I realized my win con was not fighting him because Dynamo and Immortal Hulk on an E map is really hard to out attrition with my list.
Yeah, if you have shock on everyone, you're not really killing much.
Yeah, exactly. Children came up, which was nice. I did bring that game. Just to get rid of shock and incinerate on Rogue and give her some power.
That makes sense.
But yeah, other than that, the main thing was Beast had a really good turn near the end, where he pushed Spider-Woman from close to my back objective to past his back objective. Yeah. He just spendered twice, got the push triggers, and then threw her. Which stopped her from dropping objectives on some of my people, so
that makes sense.
Allowed me to score up. Ended up going to time at the end.
Yeah, which also only 3 rounds in. If you scored 5 the first 2, and then you must have got 3 on the last one.
Yeah, he had. He nearly brought it back near the end, but even if that round went out, I probably scored up on him.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Nice.
It's a good game though.
Well, round 2 was, I mean, I talked about it on my perspective already, although honestly I kind of breezed over a lot of this game because I got right into the details of it and didn't really talk about the like earlier turns and things like that. But so if you want to hear it from a vendor's perspective, there will be a link to that video somewhere in this video. But yeah, so we were playing 19. We got paired against each other, and we've done this matchup a million times. We both said that right away. So 19 threat, spider infected intrusions. Intrusions is great for me. Spider infected is great for you. So this was a bit of a interesting pairing here. I was bringing Hulk, Steve Rogers, Rhino, Wong, and Iron Man, if I remember correctly. Yep. What did you drop here, and what was the logic on it?
So yeah, so going into this game, we played this so many times. I knew Jason's list before he put it down on the
we know each other's lists inside out at this point.
So I knew the models he was bringing. I wasn't completely sure on all the tactics cards, but I knew roughly what I was seeing. I could have guessed a good chunk of those cards, though.
Yeah, my Avengers cards are not that hard to predict.
Yeah, that's fair. So yeah, I ended up bringing Beta Ray, Bill, Logan, Storm, Psylocke, and did I start? Oh, sorry. Yeah, oh yeah, yeah. Sorry, yes, this was my 4 threats. Yes, this is my 4 threat team, and Storm.
Storm in your army of 4 threats.
Storm in the 4s. Okay. Yeah, then for my tactics cards, I brought To Me My X-Men, First Class, Brace for Impact, Sacrifice, and... Exceptional, yes.
Because I remember trying to dodge it for a little bit.
Yep. Yeah, so I basically brought a lot of my Hulk answers again, because I knew Jason was bringing Hulk and probably Rhino, which are size 4s. And then the way my list is built, at that point I kind of had to bring my other 4 threats, which I also just did not hate in the matchup. Like Psylocke's pretty decent into Steve.
Yeah, Psylocke deals with Steve pretty well. If you decide you need to kill Hulk, also pretty solid into Hulk. Also pretty solid into Rhino. Like kind of just good into everyone on my team.
Yeah, so I didn't feel bad. And then Logan was honestly one of the ones, strangely enough, where I'm like, I didn't love bringing him, especially on intrusions.
My
But
team
it's
is
Logan.
very much designed to not care that much about a Logan, so like, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, like overall he's okay, but he wasn't quite as good in the matchup as the other 4 threats. So.
Yep, no, that checks out. So how'd that game kind of roll out? Like I said, I talked about it over on my perspective, but for anyone who doesn't care about Avengers and is just watching this for X-Men, feel free to talk about how this one went kind of in a, turn by turn if you remember what happened.
Right. So my memory of the early parts of the game are a bit more hazy.
I'm very foggy on our first couple turns here too, because I scored up turn one. I distinctly remember that.
Yes. Yes, I do remember turn 1 somewhat because so I had priority, so I did typical X-Men stuff, and I had Beta Ray grab the central objective with a Storm Hop and then run away.
Yep.
Because I wanted to try to score up as much as possible, but I also knew you had some answers to potentially stop me from doing normal stuff and
I've only played
up.
X-Men a couple times with my Avengers list. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yep. One thing I do definitely remember is Logan. So after that, you went with Wong, I think, and did
yeah, I
Wong
just powered
things.
up Rhino and
Powered
I
up
think
Rhino
walked
and
to
sat.
a back point or something.
Yeah, exactly. So I go with Logan, and there's a car on the leftmost intrusion, right behind it. So I thought I would be backstopped.
Oh yes.
If I would get pushed, because I'm like, there's no way he can get an angle that would push me off this. So Logan goes there, then Iron Man activates, and doesn't even Friday AI this, because Jason didn't think it could happen either.
Also, I totally said Wong stood on back point. No, he grabbed a back spider infected.
Oh yes,
yeah,
right. Oh yeah, because there was no back point.
And that's why Iron Man didn't Friday AI, because he needed to be able to pick up the spider infected in case I did no damage.
Yeah. So Iron Man rolls a 4 dice energy, gets the push, but on top of that, I believe you did.
I think I got 4 hits, maybe 5.
I think it might have been 5 because I think I blocked 1 from cover and 1 naturally.
Sure.
So I took like 3 damage on Logan. Yep. Logan gets pushed, and we actually measure out the angles at this point, and it pushes Logan like tiniest of the hair, like off of the middle.
It is the smallest, like, so when we say you backstopped in the car, we mean like there was a car behind him and it looked like if he had been base to base with the car, he would have been on the objective, but we didn't measure that. So there was a very small distance I was able to push him that was the smallest amount off of the objective.
Yeah, so that part did not go great for me. Other notable things about this turn is we did like move up, grab objectives and stuff, but I didn't grab my back point till I think it's till Rhino went, or
so Rhino ended up the right side, or your right side and my left side portal was on top of a size 5 building, and you had, I think it was Psylocke contesting it, but I had Rhino, punch her, teleport to her to contest it. And that was the only portal you were really going hard on, because, oh no, you also totally took, put another, I think it was Rogue onto the portal that Iron Man screwed you out of.
Yes, I did, because at that point it was a safe move.
Yeah.
Right. No, I remember what happened.
You thought it was a safe move. Right.
So, with Rhino, so we've done this matchup before, and I know what could happen if he gets this is a robbery off on the first turn, because Wong plus Caps means he gets a stampede, and if he builds power, this is a robbery, and that's really bad for the objective game.
It's a very strong first turn.
So I've been punished in the past by moving up, grabbing my objective, and moving too close to Rhino. So I didn't grab my final Spire Infected till at the end, and it was Storm who grabbed it, then just walked away from Rhino, basically.
That checks out.
Yes, because so Rhino could only really go into Psylocke, and who did not actually hold an objective, but was on a point, which was relevant. So, yeah, so the first turn also went bad because Yeah, 3 damage was dealt to Psylocke, I believe, with Rhino.
Something like that. Yep.
Yeah,
Which
so
you were smart not to grab an objective with it.
yeah, because that totally would have been drop point, thrown off the point, and no, it would have been a lot of VPs missed and
Yeah.
bad stuff happening.
And then over
So-
on the right side too, or your left.
Yeah, with that big building in the middle too, so I'd have to climb back onto it, and yeah, it would not have been good. So then in round 2, I believe we rolled Spider Infected.
Well, the
And-
other thing that happened in round 1 was Hulk portaled over and threw Rogue off that point as well. So I also tied you on that
Right.
one.
I completely forgot that happened. Yes.
Yeah.
That also
Hulk
happened.
went to the middle portal because Hulk and Cap had both deployed central and teleported over, and I think I don't think I threw her. I think I ended up pushing Rogue off of it.
I thought it was a throw.
It might have been a throw. I don't remember.
Yeah. I can't.
One of the two things happened.
I can't quite remember. Yeah, I mean, it's the same thing because Rogue can just charge back, but yeah. No, it was something like that.
But yeah, so round 2, yeah, I remember the Spider Infected mattered this round.
It did. So yeah, I believe you scored up 5-4 first round.
Sounds
or
right. I know we were
3.
only off by 1, or maybe 2, but yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So going into this round, I had priority. I think.
That checks out
Yes.
to me.
Yeah, I did. I rolled Spider Infected on Beta Ray. He failed, which matters, because he got shoved away, so he couldn't really walk up and attack anything this turn.
Yeah,
which
so he was
kinda
hiding
sucked.
behind that size 5 building that Rhino was tearing Rampage on. So when
Yep.
he got pushed away, he didn't really like the building was very awkward to maneuver around, and even though he has flight, he wasn't able to actually get onto it until like his second move action.
Yep. Then I don't think the rest of the Spider Infected really mattered too much for me. Like Storm might have failed one.
I think I pushed maybe Logan like further away, but I don't think it mattered.
Logan wasn't holding one.
Okay, then maybe Rogue. I don't know.
It
Yeah.
could have been. I just don't remember it being that
Yeah,
relevant.
I don't think it was super significant.
Okay. Yeah. And then I don't know if any of your Spider Infected mattered.
I
that
think
round.
I lucked out with Spider Infected pretty much the entire game on the rounds that we remembered to roll it.
Right. Yes, because we also did that. Yeah. There's a chance Iron Man might have got pushed back.
Yeah, you might have gotten. You know what? No, that rings a bell. I think you did shove Iron Man at one point. Whether it was this round or the next round, it did happen.
Okay. Yeah. So. Yep. That checks out. And I trying to remember who I started out this round with.
I remember so little about this round. Like this round was the most insignificant round of the entire game.
I basically remember this round. It was a bit of a turning point. I think I got some good damage on. Oh, I might start with Psylocke.
That would
Yeah,
check
I
out.
think it was Psylocke because I didn't think Rogue was in a
Didn't-
ton of danger from Hulk yet.
Didn't Psylocke just like totally whiff?
Right? Yeah, she went. That's why I don't remember this. Yeah, she went after like Rhino or Cap, one of them.
Didn't
And
matter because neither of them took more than like a damage.
Yeah, it was really sad. I was hoping to like maybe make like daze Rhino, grab his objective, or like get some damage on Rhino so I can daze him later on in the round, grab his objective.
Well, he didn't have an objective, but he was contesting the portal.
Right. Yeah.
Wong had the objective because Rhino punched Psylocke turn 1.
Yeah, I think it's like I can't remember like my exact reasoning here.
Honestly, I think you thought he had an objective because I seem to remember you having a realization partway through the game of like, wait, Rhino is not holding anything.
Yeah, I don't know what I was thinking then. Yeah, I might have been. It might have also been trying to like if this is a robbery, being able to steal the objective back. I think that might have been some logic too, is just get some damage on him.
Throwing damage on Rhino is never a bad idea.
Yeah, but it completely whiffed regardless, so didn't matter. Psylocke did nothing. I believe she ended up back on the point.
Yeah, she stayed on the point, but otherwise had no relevance that round.
Yeah, and then the other thing I remember really well from this round is you went with Hulk and you went into Rogue. and you did like no damage, I think.
That actually checks out. Yeah, I also whiffed right after you whiffed.
Yeah, like you might have got like 1 or 2 points in, but like really not what you want from a Hulk.
Yeah.
So that went really well, and then after that, things started going my way. I managed to get a lot of damage on Hulk this round.
Yeah, your Rogue and I think Logan together put out like 10 plus damage on him.
Yeah, and I don't remember if I did I daze Iron Man this round.
Um, you did at some point. I don't know if it was this round. I think it would have been next round.
Yeah, because I think I also got some damage into Iron Man at some point with Logan with like a beam or something, maybe.
Yeah, that checks out.
Yeah, I don't think it dazed him, but I think I got something into him,
Yep.
which is good. And then I managed to score up this round and tie the game.
Yeah, I know going into round 3 we were tied, so I'd lost my early advantage there.
Yep. And that's really all I remember about this round. Oh, sorry. Beta Ray also did something this round. He double walked and
Through Rhino.
Yeah, it was either Rhino or Hulk.
No, because he was definitely on the Rhino side of the board at this point in the game.
Right. Yes, and then he didn't have power to teleport.
I think you actually threw Rhino at Wong, who miraculously survived, if I remember correctly.
Yes, that's exactly what happened. Okay, yeah. Wong survived on like 1 or 2 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it allowed me to score that point though because I threw Rhino off.
Yep, I think I ended up having Cap portal over there and try and do some work, but it didn't really matter.
Yeah, and then I think Psylocke was still up at that point, so I scored it.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. That checks out to me. And Storm was also over on that point at this point in the game, so because I think Cap ended up shield slamming one of them off the point, but it like you had 3 models there, so.
Right. Yes, Storm moved on at that point too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that round went pretty well for me. All I sadly really remember from that round, weirdly,
just a bunch of whiffed attacks. Yeah.
Whiffed attacks and then stuff going my way later on.
Yeah. Going into the next round was where things got a little bit more interesting because at this point we were both in like around the 10 mark for points, give or take, like 9 or 10, I think.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah, I don't remember what Spider Infected did that round either.
I know. That was one of the rounds we forgot. I'm pretty sure.
That's why I don't remember it. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is where we started forgetting. Yeah, this is where we started forgetting all the Spider Infected triggers, and they were just objectives.
But yeah.
So that was not good.
This round, if I remember correctly, it was the one where I kind of put myself in a very close to winning position for the next round. Because I think at the end of this round I had 14 and you only had like 11 or 12.
Yes. So yeah, I kind of remember this round. I had priority again, and I was determined to take Hulk off the table.
Yeah.
Because there was no bodyguards nearby him. I think he had 11 health?
No, he had 11 damage, 9 health.
Oh, 9 health. So I believe I went with Rogue for this.
Yep.
And there's a couple of reasons I went with her. I'm pretty sure that at this point the size 4 around that point was still on the table. Or did I throw that earlier?
The size 4 building I think was part of all the damage you did into him the previous round.
Okay, yeah. Because I removed that to make sure he couldn't throw that into me. Yeah, so I went with Rogue. I believe I got some damage in there, but I brought him down to like 1 or 2 health remaining.
Yeah, he was above 16 because I know he had the +4 dice.
Yeah, and unfortunately he lived. Then you went with him.
Left Rogue on 1 and flung her away.
Yes, he didn't. And I think I braced the throw so she would stay up on 1.
Yep. And then I think I might have dazed Logan and Storm there as well.
No, Storm wasn't on that side at the point.
Oh, right, 'cause she came over later.
Yeah,
she got dazed on the other side by like Cap or Rhino that round.
No, I think you actually did your entire Hulk activation into
Logan.
Rogue almost.
Okay, because I also dazed. Oh yeah, because Logan was the other side of the board too.
Yeah, Logan.
After this round.
I don't think Logan got dazed on that side. Yeah, no. Hulk didn't daze Logan.
Yeah, so it might have just been his entire activation to leave Rogue on 1. So then, yeah, I guess Hulk had another disappointing activation. I thought he did more, but I could be misremembering.
I could be wrong about this somewhat too, but I think Logan was up because I think he moved to the other side of the board.
Yeah, I know Logan started on the Hulk side of the board and later came over.
Actually, no, sorry, no, he might have went down there.
Yeah, you know what? This was when I dazed Logan, and then you sent Beta Ray and Storm over to the Hulk side to finish him off.
Right. Yes. And I'm pretty sure this is also where I dazed Iron Man before he went.
Yeah, I think one of them ended up taking Iron Man instead of Hulk, because the other one took Hulk or something like that.
Yeah. So the key takeaways from this round is I managed to take out Hulk. A lot of my models were clumped up on the left side as kind of a result from this.
Yep.
By the end of that round, my right side was not looking super hot, and you scored up a good amount of points off that.
Yeah, I know going into the next round, I only needed 2 points to win, which is where I screwed up colossally.
Yeah, I don't think I was super far behind though. I think I was like at 3 or 4 points to.
I think you
myself.
were. Yeah, you were, I think, around 12, 13 at that point.
Yeah.
Or, no, I know you were at least 2 points behind, so 11, 12.
Yeah. So that's all I really remember from round 3.
Key takeaways, most of your models were on their injured side and on one side of the board.
Yes, correct. Yeah, so going into round 4, we forgot Spider Infected again.
Yep. Actually, we might have remembered it that round, but it just didn't matter, because I think we only forgot it twice.
Okay, yeah. Either way, Spider Infected did not matter that round, regardless.
Yeah.
No one really got pushed. Yes, and going into this round, I knew I had to do a couple things. So I had to take out as many models this round to stop Jason from scoring as possible.
Yeah, because basically all of my models except Cap were holding a Spider Infected, and all of them were still alive. So you needed to down pretty much everyone. You were allowed to leave one standing.
Yep, and the other thing I had to do this round too is respect Helios Laser.
Yep.
Because that was online. I didn't have a great model to take out Iron Man before he could go. No one was in a great position for that. So I decided to go with Logan, because Logan can eat a Helios with exceptional, potentially.
Yep.
And I did do a bit of a misplay, so I teleported him to
Rhino and Wong and Cap.
Rhino, Wong, and Cap, yep. And I thought Logan had one more power than he ended up having, so I ended up doing what I do isn't very nice into Cap and failed to do any damage, which left me with no power to do a beam, which was a very bad misplay on my part, because I should have just went for Wong at that point, especially if I was doing it like this, like what I do isn't very nice, and just grab his objective. And I was trying to go for maybe taking out Cap and Wong, and that was a bit greedy.
Yep.
Also just a colossal miscalculation of my power there.
Yeah.
I thought I had enough for that. So yeah, no, I failed to do any damage on Cap with, like, I don't think I got the rerolls because I think Psylocke was nearby.
Yeah, Psylocke was still right there. And
She
yeah,
might-
you're right. My very start of that round, I dazed Psylocke with someone.
Rhino or
No, because that was the round Rhino didn't do anything. I don't remember how Psylocke went down, because that was the round I just ran everyone away. So no, she must have still been up, or this happened the round before.
No, it's definitely happened. The Logan thing definitely happened this round. I just yeah, Psylocke might have still been up at that point, but I think she got dazed somewhere else.
She must have been dazed the previous round, because I know this round the only model I had that actually attacked anything was Cap, and it was a shield throw for power.
Yo, you might have also just displaced her, so she couldn't really get in a great spot that
might have
round.
been relevant too, yeah.
I remember, like, she maybe made one attack.
She would have been the model I threw the previous round.
Yeah, because I don't think she did anything relevant this round either.
Yeah.
Yeah, Psylocke was a bit disappointing. But yeah, basically, so Logan fails to do the attack into Cap, and at this point I'm like, okay, I'll try to attack Wong, and I think you... Did you bodyguard this?
Yeah, I think Cap took it because I needed Wong had an
Yeah.
objective, and I knew if Wong and Rhino survived, I won the game.
Oh, I remember what Psylocke did now. Yeah, you bodyguarded this. Um, so Logan failed, and then I think you went with.
I think I ran Wong
Cap.
into a corner after this,
Or
or maybe I went with Cap for bodyguard shields.
I think you went with Cap first because I think you brought Logan really low.
Okay.
And then I think
Because I think it was Psylocke who ended up taking Wong down that turn, right?
No.
Because somebody did. Somebody dazed Wong that turn.
It was Beta.
Oh,
I think
Beta
Psylocke
threw the car at him.
tried to go after him at some point, but I think
Left him on like 1 or 2 or something.
one or two or something. Yeah, I think that's what happened. I don't remember the exact ordering of this, but basically, yeah. Cap brought Logan really low. Psylocke didn't kill Wong on that side, and then you ran Wong into a corner.
Yeah, I ran Wong away, kind of towards the middle of the board actually, because I was worried that the corner, like the portal, would have worked in your favor with a storm hop.
Yep.
Which was a bit of a miscalculation because then Beta Ray was able to throw a car at him. Like he just double moved and threw a car at him and it killed him.
Yep. Then after this, you move Rhino to the other side of the corner.
Yeah, so I moved
point.
Rhino to a point where you were not touching him this game.
Yep. And I believe I positioned.
You had Rogue run into your portal. Because she'd been thrown away, and you had her run into your cluster of models over there. This was before the Beta Ray thing.
Yeah, true. Yes, I had Rogue move into the cluster of my Helios cluster, which then I think you then went with Iron Man.
Yeah, so Iron Man would have been my second last activation that round, I think, and he tried to Helios Beta Ray off the table because I saw that Beta Ray was going to be able to kill, what's his name, Wong, and yeah.
So this is why Sacrifice is now a mainstay in my list. So Jason goes to make the Helios attack, targets Beta Ray.
Something like 16 dice into your 1 health Rogue?
Yeah, and then I sacrifice it into Rogue, who was probably going to die off of the Wild Trigger anyways.
Yep.
Because that was very likely. So she goes down, she drops her objective. That's fine. She was healthy. It means Beta Ray does not get deleted out of this game. And Beta Ray can do his thing this turn, which is then double move, throw Wong, daze him because he's on 1 health, and force him to drop his objective. I believe Beta either had one already or something like that, because I think I just moved it away from your other characters.
Yeah, no, I think that checks out as well.
Yeah. So that was very important. That was a very big swing because I would have lost right there. I needed Beta Ray around, and even like if it failed to kill miraculously, Beta Ray would be on very little health, which would be relevant for future rounds. So.
Yeah. And this was also where like my screw up happened as well, where I had Rhino run into a corner, not realizing that you had to kind of pick between taking out Rhino or taking out Wong. I thought you had more maneuverable and more action economy than you did. So had Rhino just stayed on that point, you would not have been able to take that point from me, and I would have won that turn.
Yeah, I would have had to try to kill Rhino basically by teleporting my models.
And Rhino was at full health beside Captain America.
Yeah, it was not great. Captain
Captain America got bullied by Storm basically.
Yeah, Storm threw Cap. She just teleported through Cap off the his portal, teleported back through, walked, picked up an objective, then walked back onto an intrusion.
Yep.
So that was what, you lost a VP off that, then I scored 2 off of Storm doing that, which is really insane. So Storm did good there. I mean, it wasn't really dice rolly. It was just
no, that was pure. I needed you to fail 2 portals in a row, basically.
Yeah.
So
Storm can do good things when she has the power for it.
And then I know we ended that round at 15-15.
Yep.
And at that point, you just had so many more relevant bodies on the table. There was very little I could do to come back.
Yeah, the main thing I just had to do was make sure I didn't misposition my models where Rhino could be relevant and kill one of them,
Exactly.
or
Because it was still ended up being close despite that. Like it was 2017 at the end, so Rhino obviously scored his one, brought me to 16, and I think Cap ended up actually taking out Storm and standing on a point.
yes, that's correct.
So,
He still stood on the point until he was thrown off by a double
but
moving
he
beta
picked up
ray
a thing.
with a throw.
Yeah,
Yes,
but he
yes,
picked up a
he
thing.
did pick up a thing.
So yeah, yeah, but like at that point in the
Yeah,
game, it was
yeah.
definitely in your favor because even if you hadn't thrown him off the point, I would have had 18, you would have had 19. So that was definitely your game, largely due to my screw up with Rhino at the second last turn.
Yep. This is also a round where I forgot about Psylocke existing. I thought I had 3 models on board. I didn't see her behind the building, and she didn't do anything all game, so I just kind of forgot about her there.
Psylocke was kind of useless this entire game. Yeah,
Yeah, she was just not relevant.
shame.
Yeah. It is what it is.
All right, so going into your third round, then you were playing against. If you guys have watched any of the previous videos in this series, this is a Shield player who's newer to the scene, but he knows what he's doing. How'd that go down? You were you played on Skrulls and Superpowered Scoundrels, so you've been lucking out with your Skrulls today, man. It looks like you got 3 out of 4 here.
I
20
love my
threat,
Skrulls.
and it looked like it was a close game. So how'd this one roll out?
Yeah, so this game was very good. So his shield list is very interesting. I don't know if he's posted it here,
Let me go take a look
but
actually.
yeah, because if you can find it, I'd like to point out some stuff.
Yeah, he's got it right here.
Yeah, so his list is by no means the typical shield list, but it has a lot of interesting plays and it can do some nasty stuff. So the main thing is we played 20th right here.
Yep.
And his list was Nick Fury, the Immortal Hulk,
Probably.
Spider Woman,
Yep.
Iron Man, Black Widow. Does that math out? Yes.
That maths to me.
Yep. And the cards he took was Eye in the Sky, Battlefield Medicine, the Shield Mobile, which is important.
The initiative on Mortal Hulk.
The initiative on Immortal Hulk, and Patch Up. I'm
Okay.
pretty sure. No, Helios. Sorry, that's
That
the fifth
makes
one.
sense. Yeah.
Yeah. So the key thing with his list is it almost always runs Immortal Hulk. I believe I could be wrong about this,
Yeah.
but he ran Immortal Hulk into me, and he attached the initiative so it's affiliated, which then allows him to do a long move with it with the Shield Mobile. Is the cool combo you can do there.
It's absolutely disgusting.
Yeah, giving Immortal Hulk a long move is very scary, and also just the fact that the initiative gives you a gadget token that can remove like a condition off Immortal Hulk is really huge.
Fantastic.
Yeah, so I liked his list. It was very interesting. So we played on Skrulls with Superpowered Scoundrels.
Yep.
And for my list, I saw Immortal Hulk coming again. So I brought Storm, Beta Ray, X-23, 36, 10, Domino, Beast, and
You're missing
I'm
4.
missing a 4th threat, Psylocke.
Psylocke. All right.
Yeah, so I brought the answers to Mortal Hulk, but I also wanted some mobility here to keep up when he like eyes in the sky and everything, and just to move around the objectives because this is a high-scoring scenario pairing.
Yeah.
So I kind of need that. But yeah, so basically my first round was played around grabbing the Skrulls and avoiding being Immortal Hulked too badly. So one of the key moments though was I picked up my Skrulls safely, but his Black Widow picked up a Skrull, and she might have got pushed. She was kind of backstopped against a card for me to push her towards me, or so forward stopped, I guess. But I pushed her slightly closer, and what this allowed was for Beast to move up and within one move get within range 3 of her. So this was really relevant because I go with Beast, and I'm hoping to get some damage here, maybe build some power on Beast, nothing crazy. Just so I can have some damage on one of his objective holders early. So I roll his 5 dice attack, and she has cover and everything. Beast rolls 5 successes, and he rolls nothing.
Yep.
So she gets dazed, and on top of this, I rolled Beast ambush trigger. So Beast places within one of her, then picks up the scroll and doesn't get pushed.
Yep.
So that was also just a really nice scroll swing there.
Yeah, I mean, 1 point for you, 1 less for him, and it looks like that's kind of the difference on the game there.
Yeah, so that was really huge. The other thing too is, yeah, Immortal Hulk didn't really get a great activation this turn. He mainly just moved up onto the center point and held it because I didn't give him much. But what is important is with my last activation, I moved Storm to the center point, and then to meet my X-Men dominoed forward, which also got her on the center point and allowed me to score it. So I scored up something like in the first round where I scored up like 1, 2, 3, 6, I think.
Yeah, that would be.
Yeah, that might.
If you stole a scroll from him, you got 2 for yourself, and you got the center point. That's 6.
Yeah, so I think it was like 6 in the first round, which was important because going into round 2, things started sliding downhill a bit for me. His Immortal Hulk dazed Domino and Storm in 1 activation, which I expected 1. I did not quite expect both.
Yeah.
Psylocke failed to kill Nick Fury with her attacks. Got him low, and then I think Storm ended up failed to kill him as well, and that wasn't great. Beast survived, which was solid because I believe he was surviving against like Spider-Man or Spider-Woman and Iron Man.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Beast. It's one of those Beast games where it's like, oh, I'm not gonna get dummied by energy this game, and that felt pretty good.
Sure.
Yeah. So I don't remember a ton from this round. I remember he starts winning he dazes a bunch of my models. He scores up a good amount too. I still score a decent amount to keep me in the game. And Beta Ray does his thing where he moves into the center point and throws
Immortal Hulk?
Immortal Hulk. Yeah. That turn he threw Immortal Hulk. That was the turn he threw Immortal Hulk, I think.
Nice.
Or someone. So it was throwing someone off the objective so he doesn't score it. Yeah, sorry, I can't remember that super well. There's also a chance he tried to he might have just thrown an attack on the back point at someone because he was the only one on it. And he was still going to score the middle point anyways because I think he also put Iron Man or someone on it as well.
That checks
But yeah.
out.
Yeah, and then so this game X23 just had one that did nothing. And she just continued to whiff attacks. I would have her go up, do like a range 3 claw rush, then run back onto the back objective and just whiffed. So that's unfortunate. But yeah, that was mainly it for that round. Like the score started going towards him. Attrition was definitely going his way, and I had some damage on Nick Fury, and I might have dazed one other model. But yeah. So then going into round 3, this one went a bit better. Like Immortal Hulk dazed or KO'd Domino. Or no, KO'd Storm? He did something rude. Yeah. Could have also. Oh, he might have just dazed Beta Ray.
Yeah, I didn't see.
Yeah.
Comment on it.
I'm drawing a blank on some of these interactions, but I remember what really mattered this round was he got Domino low with Immortal Hulk, and I think he also got another one somewhat low, and I failed to kill Nick Fury again and left him on 1. So then he goes, and he goes into Psylocke, he whiffs, but his grunts, on the other hand, chose not to whiff. So his grunts proceed to KO Domino, daze Psylocke, and put a good chunk of damage in X-23, I think, because he was doing it off of their attack. Like he moved, attacked, and then he did the Nick Fury spender where they also get to attack again.
Right.
So yeah, there's some gross stuff going on there, but they put in a ton of work. And then on the other side, I managed to score a few more points, but he was catching like at this point, we're getting kind of close in scores. I think I still have the lead, but the attrition game is swinging in his favor, and he's been scoring up more and more. And so I still managed to steal some points. Like X-23 runs off to like middle of nowhere, I think, with an objective, because like that's the way it ended up being. Because I think she chased some like Black Widow who was low, killed her. I put it somewhat farther away from his mouth, so X-23 might have a chance of living, and then she ran over and grabbed it. Yeah, and then Beta Ray also gets pretty low or dazed at this point. I think maybe that's what Immortal Hulk did, was maybe daze Beta Ray, and put damage into Domino. And yeah, at this point, it's not looking great. So then I go into the next round, and both of us can technically take the game here. But what was important is Immortal Hulk started whiffing. So he didn't kill my models there. And Beta Ray is left on like 1 health. So what I do with Beta Ray is I activate him. I throw Immortal Hulk off the center so he's not scoring it, and then I double move Beta Ray to my back point to keep him alive. And at this point, he then goes with Iron Man. He does Helios Laser, Exceptionals. I didn't bring Exceptional this game, so X-23 just gets Helios off the board.
Sure.
She has an objective and everything, and she could have probably killed Nick Fury. So that made sense. Yep. But the key point is Beta Ray's on the back point. He's got one of those scrawls, and he's holding the back point. And what I needed to happen then was I needed Psylocke to take out Nick Fury and just KO him, because I didn't want his leadership to proc and score him a point.
And he's still on 1 at this point, right?
Yeah, or no, at this point I did.
You did finish him out last round? Okay.
Yeah, I forgot that happened, yeah. So he's on close to full, or he should be on full. And I go with Psylocke. So I need Psylocke to kill him with an Eye in the Sky up, and which she can do. She can still get double attacks off with Eye on the Sky. I just need to, like, it means I might just get like a 5 dice or like a 4 dice and a 7 dice with rerolls.
Right, because one of them might be the pursuit.
Yeah, exactly. So that's ended up what happening, and so I get some damage in. With like the 4 dice, it was actually pretty solid. I think it did like 3 damage or something, which is good. But then I need to do, like, I just remember bringing him down to basically 2 health for the final attack. There might have been someone else.
The pursuit would have been 4 unless you had someone else blink him. Yeah.
There's a chance someone else might have did something to him. I don't remember who. It could have been Beta Ray with a throw from his hammer or something. No, he double moved.
Yeah, I mean, for Beta Ray, could Beta Ray have thrown him?
No, he threw Immortal Hulk.
Okay. Well,
I don't know. He got some damage. I don't remember if it was all from Psylocke, but basically for the final attack, he was on 2 health. So I do the Psionic Assault, which is a 7 dice Mystic, her spender, and we roll dice, and the way the dice end up, he would live just on 1. But thankfully, Psylocke has the useful ability that allows her to reroll her dice. So I spent 2 power, reroll 2 of the dice, and I got 1 success and took out Nick Fury, which means he dropped the objective. He couldn't score the back point. Psylocke would score it, and it would allow me to score up that round. Because the other side, I believe, was pretty much, it might have been his, or like Beast was in the corner, but he couldn't really take care of him. So it allowed me to score up enough points this round where I scored up to 17 and he only got up to 15.
Right.
But yeah, I needed those things to go in my favor because otherwise either tied it, which means I lost the game because there's no way I was going to win the next round, or he just flat out won there. So yeah, so Beta Ray living on one was huge, being able to throw Hulk off the point and run to the corner, and Psylocke being able to take out Nick Fury before he could go, and also force his grunts to drop an objective.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that's basically how that game went. I wish I remembered it better, but yeah, that's roughly what happened.
Yeah, no, fair enough. So you're 3-0 right now and going into the final round, and you ended up being paired against Mr. Patrick up here with Web Warriors. Now, when I went over to the table here, it looked like you were kind of getting diced, but you said you made a few mistakes here and there. So your final game here ended 17-13, 20 threat again with that Skrulls and Superpowered Scoundrels, you lucky jerk. So yeah, how'd this one roll out?
So yeah, he was playing Web Warriors. This is also a fun matchup because I finally didn't have to face against a Hulk this tournament,
Yep.
which was refreshing. And his list ended up being Miles, Black Cat, Ghost Spider, Venom, and Ghost Rider. There might have been a Spider-Woman in there or something if my math's off there, but 5, 9, 12, 15, 18. Oh, Toad, sorry.
Oh
Toad.
yeah,
Toad was the last one. 20. Yeah, there. That was his list. It was interesting because I didn't expect Ghost Rider and Web Warriors, but when I saw it, I'm pretty sure he's gonna bring it with Deal with the Devil, because keep him alive.
Yeah.
Then he brought Lethal Protector, All Webbed Up, Aunt May's Wheat Cakes, and Spider Tracker. So
that checks out.
a lot of just oh wait, one of those is wrong.
What did he have instead? And we can figure it out as we go if it matters.
Yeah, he had one punch, and it might have been for Spider Tracker because I remember everything else being played.
Fair enough.
Yeah. So then the list I brought was, so I've done the Web Warrior matchup once or twice. I'm not super experienced on it, but I know their game plan is to throw you around, grab the objectives, and score up that way. So I brought a lot of models that would be able to keep up with them. So Psylocke instantly makes it in because she hits them on the Mystic side, which Web Warriors really don't like. And she's also just pretty mobile. Storm, obviously. I brought Beast because he's got size 2 displacement. He's fast, so he can grab me the Skrulls pretty safely. Yeah, he's a pretty good model. So 4, 7, 10. Then I brought Logan. Logan's good at killing stuff, and he can place off of them, so he can kind of keep up with them fairly well.
Logan is certainly good at killing stuff.
Yep. Yes. Logan's good at killing stuff. Shocking. I think that's 14 now.
Yep, that sounds right.
Then I brought Pyro because I remember him being there. I don't think I brought Pyrotechnics this game.
Okay.
Just because my card slots were kind of tight, and I wasn't too sure if I was going to get off the proper incinerates on them, because it's a bit more dicey if I'm not playing on Demons Downtown.
Yep, that makes sense.
And then I think the last one was X23.
That checks out, yeah.
Because similar reasons, mobile. It's nice bringing 2 healing factor models with exceptional healing. Yeah, and the rest of it was pretty typical X-Men cards. It was, the main thing is I didn't bring Sacrifice. I brought Brace instead, and Children. Then I brought Children of the Atom to be my X-Men in first class. Children was because I didn't want to get slowed and be able to not be able to keep up with the Web Warriors would feel kind of bad. And it might matter on an all webbed up turn if they lived a turn from one of the characters. They can remove the slow, and they won't get their additional dice against them. So that's the reason I brought it. It did end up being relevant, especially because Ghost Rider was in the game and he was handing out those hexes and incinerates.
Yep.
Yep. So the main thing with this game is this one is one of the ones I shockingly remember even less from than the game before.
Which is wild because it was your last one.
Yeah, at this point in the day, this is partially where I started making some mistakes. I was tired, the store was hot, and I just kind of like.
Oh god, yeah, no, that
Yeah.
store, their air conditioning broke like the week before, and
Yeah,
it was warm.
it was bad. Yeah. And my goal for this tournament was already accomplished. I wanted to try to win 3 games and manage that. I still obviously wanted to win this, to be clear.
Yeah, grab the first
but
place.
yeah, but it dice were bad. But I also just I can't. There's nothing I can remember quite off the top of my head that was like a glaring mistake. But I just felt like my positioning of models were kind of sloppy. I think they were just like a bit out of like Storm Hops at that point, or they're a bit too close to some of his models, or I didn't pay attention to like Lifesaver from Gwen too much. That's,
Right.
basically what happened. He also played it very well. He knew what he was doing. He knew what his models were doing. Like he had a good game plan, and he played Gwen quite well.
Yeah,
So
no, I saw some of that. He was abusing Gwen a little bit.
so yeah, at the end of the day, I think he definitely deserved that win there because he did play it better than me.
Yeah, fair enough.
Yeah, so good game though. It was fun. Even though yeah, dice did end up happening a little, but it's a dice game.
Yeah.
Uh,
No, I definitely saw like was it Venom who just took way more than he had any right to before he went down on his flip side.
you only saw the tail end of that too.
I only saw like the last 2 rounds of that game. Yeah.
That was the entire game with Venom, was me trying to grab that spider infected from him and putting stuff like Pyro and Logan and like or X-23 in, and not doing just enough to bring him down like 1 or 2, and then like he'd go like, "We are Venom."
We are Venom. Let's heal.
And like let's heal up back to full off of that, and like I believe he dazed one of my models during the activations too.
I love Venom.
His Venom was insane that game.
Yeah, no, he seemed like he was doing a lot with that Venom. But
Yeah, because what I mainly remember from the first round is that round went relatively neutral. We both scored 4. He might have scored the middle still.
I was gonna say there's 9 points there, but if you like tied the middle or something, then that four checks out.
I think we might have tied the middle. I think we did tie the middle actually. Yeah, so yeah, 4. And then afterwards, there wasn't anything really exciting in that first round. It was just a bunch of jostling for objectives a little, and there wasn't a ton I could do because it is Web Warriors, and they are. And he had Ghost Rider to punish me for trying to hurt his models when they picked up scrolls and stuff like that. So I didn't want to give Ghost Rider the power to just long move up and.
That makes sense. You don't
put on
want to
there.
get too aggressive turn 1 there.
Yeah, so and it's also against another objective team, so I also had to be somewhat careful. But yeah, so we tied the first round, which is okay. Then we go into the second round, and this is where just Venom just would not die. Did a ton of damage to Pyro, and Ghost Rider like pretty much dummy. Did not dummy Beast actually. He did a lot of damage to Beast, but he also did a lot of damage to another model because he was like beaming them, and I think he might have dazed the other one, which might have been Storm. But I remember Beast living, which was like again, Beast was just choosing not to die to energy attacks this game, which was great for me. But Beast was just kind of just ran around and tried shoving people off objectives to help score it. But yeah, my attrition game, like whenever I tried to do some attrition to steal the objective from him or try to score up in a way, my plans would not really follow through. Like my dice weren't really going super hot that direction. And he had some good Gwen plays and some good plays with Miles. This might have also been the round where I think he went with Miles and he did like all webbed up with 1-2 punch. After I feel like Miles with Psylocke. And he just absolutely he did a ton of damage to Psylocke, and then I think he ran away with Miles because Psylocke already went at that point and just kind of parked him on a back point, And then later on in the round, he just walked up with Gwen since Psylocke was still slow, and did the Spire technique thing, 6 dice, did the last 2 damage, and then she ran away because she moved that turn.
Very long move. Yep.
Yep. So he ended up scoring up a lot there, and well, he didn't score up a lot. He scored a good amount of points, but he scored up more than me. I still scored a good chunk of points, but I was falling behind, and this is going to be an objective game because we're both objective teams, and the rest of the game kind of played out like that, where Logan and X23 were really failing to perform. Psylocke was also flubbing rolls. Storm did okay, and Beast and Pyro were okay.
Do you think, because I think you said you didn't bring pyrotechnics for this one, with how much you were failing to drop models like Venom, would pyrotechnics have made a big deal here if you'd been able to kind of auto drop some objectives as long as you got fire out?
So I would say yes, except for Pyro couldn't even get that out.
Pyro wasn't even getting his fire. Okay.
So I didn't feel a bit bad about leaving that one at home because Pyro was he was rolling some good damage at times, but he wasn't getting those incinerates out, and the card wouldn't have been relevant, unfortunately.
Fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
So sometimes that happens, and I mean that's a very interesting matchup for and X-Men and Web Warriors, because like they're both very, very objective focused teams, but they both do it a little bit differently.
Absolutely, I do really enjoy that matchup. It is a ton of fun to play. And even though dice didn't go my way, it was a really fun game, and my opponent played it very well. So, yeah.
Well, this is the kind of overall standings here. So as I said at the beginning, Reid, you and myself, we placed pretty well. We did second and third, which was great. It was our third or fourth event at this store now. I think I've done one more than you here.
Yeah.
But it's been a great time every time. The store's great. They've got a great community built up there, and I think for both of us, all of our opponents were fantastic to play against. No matter how the game went, it was good games all around and good people to play with. So it was a good time. But yeah, do you have anything else you kind of want to say about your list or the event, or should we wrap up here? I totally just clicked on your profile, not your list.
No, it was a really fun event. All my games were fun and like pretty close, except for the last one where I kind of lost. That one wasn't as close, but it was still like a good game. So yeah, no, a lot of fun. All my opponents were friendly, so it's all good.
Alrighty, well that's going to do it for this tournament recap. I hope you guys enjoyed, and yeah, I think we'll try to keep these going because it seems like at least the ones I've done for Avengers so far are doing pretty well. You guys seem interested in them, and going forward, if Reid and I both go to event, I'll probably pull Reid in for these in future ones. Might even try doing them together as one video where we both go through all of our games together. But we'll see. We'll try that out. Unfortunately, we don't have another tournament for a couple weeks at least, so we'll see how that times out. Maybe we'll do a report on our current league that's going on, but I don't trust myself to remember a game that's 2 days old, never died in 3 weeks. So we'll see. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. If you did, be sure to drop a like down below. Leave a comment letting us know what you guys think on the formatting and stuff like that on our lists, or maybe things you think we might have wanted to try out and could have done differently. Yeah, just in general, let us know what you guys think. Otherwise, I think that's gonna wrap up this recap. So have a great day. Peace.